Is Envious Assassin worth it? With Lightfall's release, we saw the debut of 8 brand new perks, with one of those being Envious Assassin. The description of the perk did interest me, so similarly to what I did for Target Lock, today I wanted to do a deep dive into Envious Assassin to see whether or not the perk is worth it or not. So with that being said, I'm SniperKH, and let's hop into it. Let's start with what the perk does. According to the description, Envious Assassin does the following. Rapidly defeating targets with other weapons before drawing this one transfers ammo to the magazine from reserves. This effect can overflow the magazine based on the number of targets defeated. To sum up this perk, it's basically Envious Assassin, but instead of overflowing the magazine of the weapon used to kill those targets, it overflows the magazine of the stowed weapon that has the perk. As of the time of this video's recording, it rolls on 9 weapons, with those weapons being on screen now. This perk has interested me a lot, so I did some deep diving into this perk, looking at how much ammo you get, how much time you get to kill those targets before the game registers your kills and converts that into ammo, how much time you have to claim said ammo, and then some myths that I came up with regarding this perk. So let's dive into all of that. Let's dive deep into the testing done for Envious Assassin. I began by testing how long you have to switch to the weapon of Envious Assassin before you lose the ammo. Throughout my testing, I found the grace period to be roughly 10 seconds. Which isn't too far off of how long you get for Envious Assassin. The next thing I wanted to test is how much ammo is transferred when you swap weapons. I did this test for 3 different weapons, which were the round robin hand cannon, which comes from Nimbus engrams and the quest you get from him after the Lightfall campaign, the circular logic heavy machine gun, which drops on the terminal overload activity on Neomuna on certain days, and the Regnin, which is the seasonal heavy grenade launcher for Season of Defiance, which I've already made a video about linked below. Anyway, I tested what the cap for ammo transferred and how many kills were required for ammo transfer. Before I show the results, I want to note 2 things. Number 1, each weapon was tested without a magazine perk or mod equipped. Each weapon had its base magazine size during testing, so magazine size and mods will affect the results if you test this yourself. The second note I wanted to make is that the number of bullets I was getting per kill during testing seemed to be really inconsistent. So if certain numbers have a range of numbers, it's simply because I was unable to get a declarative answer, so just keep that in mind. Anyways, the results for the round robin are on screen now, which will feature its magazine cap and the rate of bullets being transferred. Be sure to pause the video if you want to further examine the results. Next up are the results for the circular logic, which includes the same numbers that the round robin does, so once again, pause if you need to. And the final weapon is the Regnin, which features the same stats. Once again, be sure to pause if you need to. I will say that from the testing, I was pleasantly surprised by the results. The perk returns a lot of ammo for a small number of kills, so depending on what weapon you use to get those kills, you'll pretty easily maximize the effect of this perk. Now that we've done the nitty gritty of this perk, I wanted to answer some myths that I made when I was testing the perk, so let's dive into that. So when I was testing this perk, I theorized 4 different myths. Some of which seem kind of dumb, but were still interesting enough to test, and some of these myths genuinely surprised me. Starting off with myth number 1, I wanted to see if kills from your teammates proc the perk, and it will not proc it. The second one was if kills from abilities or your super would, and the answer is no, which did surprise me, but I guess the description of the perk does say weapons and not abilities, so oh well. The third myth I wanted to test is if 1 kill could proc Envious Assassin for 2 separate weapons, and to my surprise, it does. So if you do have 2 weapons with Envious Assassin on it, then be sure to take advantage of this. The final myth I wanted to test was whether or not Envious Assassin would reload an empty weapon, and once again to my surprise, it actually does. The last myth will be incredibly situational, but it is still an interesting fact to know. So in the end of it all, is Envious Assassin worth it? In my honest opinion, I would say it very much depends on what weapon you have this perk on. If this perk is on a kinetic weapon like an auto rifle or a hand cannon, then I do believe you could do better. I think the same can be said for certain special weapons like trace rifles, since most will end up using them like kinetic weapons anyways. However, in the case of a grenade launcher or most heavy weapons, then I think Envious Assassin will prove to be a solid perk, although I think perks like autoloading holster will beat this perk out 9 times out of 10. Of course, depending on the heavy weapon. Well, that wraps up this video. If you found it helpful, then consider dropping a like and subscribing for more Destiny 2 content dropping weekly. If you're interested in me covering a certain perk or have questions about Envious Assassin, then be sure to drop a comment and I'll be sure to get to it as soon as possible. If you want to hang out with me or you want to watch more of my Destiny content, then be sure to stop by my streams that happen right here on YouTube. Finally, be sure to follow me on my social media platforms linked below. With that being said, I'm SniperKH, and I'm out. Good luck with gaming.